How's everybody doing today? Made it to the ninth, and just because we're still here, it doesn't mean things weren't shaking and baking and happening, right? Earthquake felt in Florida. I think that's significant. Um, so some things that were happening, I don't know. So this is ISWA again. Looks like and this is going to get crazy. We dropped down into a bowl, right? Um, and then later in the same run, I've got, okay, so here we are in the bowl, right? Later, and then all of a sudden it starts pushing up the other way, almost like we're going. And I said a long time ago in a video, think of the movie Hot Tub Time Machine, where they went up and down inside the hot tub watery vent. So yeah, and then total earthquakes in the last 24 hours, 1,771. That looks like a good mirror number to me. And this I just have in here for a reason. I did a screenshot. I was hoping that it would pull up the article, because up here, when I did this thing said knock knock. It had a little thing here, their little drawing like always. It had a bunch of doors and it said knock knock. And I'm always talking about, the Matrix movie. So if you go to the beginning of the Matrix movie, there's a scene where, Neo is in his area where all his computer's set up, blah blah blah, and he gets the little knock knock on his computer screen, and the guy shows up, gives him some money. And the only reason I'm saying this is on the computer screen. I don't know how many of you have seen this movie. You might just want to go check it out. It's a pretty interesting movie. There's a knock knock, and it says it tells him on his computer screen is follow the white rabbit. Well, one of the girls that came to the door had an actual white rabbit tattoo on her shoulder, so he went to the club and da-da-da. But what I find ironic about that is it said knock knock up here, and if you play everything backwards, and let's go back to February, and there was a talk about the white rabbit, White Bunny doing the halftime show. So that's like the whole, symbolically to me, the whole scene at the beginning of the Matrix movie playing out kind of in reverse as we go backwards to the beginning. I also took a screenshot of, we'll get back into that here in a minute. This right here, this is the first thing I thought of when they put water back on the 4th into the wading pool. That's the first movie that popped to mind. So basically while this event was going on, while we were dropping and coming up, and we had a huge, and they were calling it, the weather pattern is not normal, okay? And last night, there was a huge breakout in the middle of the country. Basically, they were experiencing an inland hurricane. There were tornadoes embedded in the front as they moved through, but as the whole front was moving through, and think about that, a storm front, they can be 50 miles, 100 miles long, that whole front system, right? The whole front system at the Salina airport, they clocked winds at 113 miles an hour. So just the pre-storm gusts that were coming in were anywhere from 80 to 113 miles an hour across a huge swath of Kansas last night. And then we had the commodities thing, which deals with the stock market. They're just talking about the oil. Now this is where it's going to get crazy, because this thing here, again, this is just how I see stuff. The first time I saw this right here, this little thing that's going up at the White House, just so reminds me of this movie here, Contact. And in particular, that kind of setup right there. Or it also kind of reminds me of that setup right there. Now it's being designated as a rally to end all rallies, right? And I've said I don't know if we have to get there because that's something that they're pushing. But that is a time machine, if you've ever seen the movie Contact. And it's not even so much a time machine, it's a dimensional machine that move you into different dimensions. So, and I said, you know, the 14th, it actually shows up in the numbers. You know, if the 31st was the end of the timeline and the ark came to rest, that would be the 14 days before leaving. So I'm still not sure about this one, mainly because of the alignments that are going on, which I don't have any of that info to give you at the moment. Because, like I said, I'm pretty busy today. What are we doing today? We're tearing apart a motor. We're pickling a motor. Replacing fuel pumps. I don't know. We just got a lot going on, so I only had a brief minute to do this. But anyway, so, you know, here we've been going up and down, and we're not going anywhere. But, you know, when the script talks about the earth shaking, okay, so this is being shook dimensionally, and we have the earthquakes popping off. We still have the alignment coming up on the 10th, which I think is bigger than the thing going on at the White House. But I don't know, like I said, this is all just, you know, we're running off of hearsay, so to speak, all these stories, just trying to find, like I said, you don't know it until it shows up on the world stage. Once it gets here, then you can say, yeah, look. And so we didn't go anywhere on the 8th, but did we? I mean, we did a whole lot of shaking according to this graph. We did some moving. We just didn't move to where we needed to yet. So anyway, so the 10th, you know, that's tomorrow. So I think we get through today, get through tomorrow, and then, you know, into the nighttime again, or the afternoon, however this event's going to go down. And then we'll see if we make it through tomorrow. We might have to go to the 14th. Like I said, I can't really see this thing dragging on much longer with the alignments, the shaking that's going on, just all the crazy crap, right? So, yeah, interesting times we live in. Okay, I love you all. Take care and have a wonderful day.